I started in the Chamber of Commerce business 17 years ago as a membership services director. And in the first 2 years, we gained a lot of new members, mostly due to hard work and the sales prospecting system that I developed in-house. But by the third year, I was promoted to a new leadership level, and even though we were still gaining new members at a good pace, our growth had slowed. We'd built a lot of momentum with our program of work and gained a lot of support in the community, so it was difficult to determine why we were facing so many headwinds with our growth. The problem was that I was looking at the member retention rate formula only from one point of view. The formula has a usefulness far beyond simply calculating a rate. And let me show you what I mean. The member retention rate formula looks like this. End count minus new members divided by start count equals your retention rate. Now, Chambers of Commerce routinely use this formula to measure member retention over a specified period of time, usually 1 year. For example, on January 1st, you began the year with 250 members. That would be your start count. You gain 1 new member every 2 weeks for a total of 26 new members recruited. That would be your new members. And then by December 31st, you ended the year with 251 total members. That would be your end count. So here's what the math looks like on that. 251 minus 26 divided by 250 equals your retention rate. So your retention rate in that example was 90% retention. Now, the biggest problem with this formula is that most membership organizations use it only for measuring and reporting past performance. Now, that's well and good, but you also need to be using it as a planning tool to project future membership so that you can properly plan your growth. And my career changed when I looked at this formula as a planning tool rather than a reporting tool. So listen to me right now. I'm going to give you some straight talk that you probably haven't gotten anywhere else, and it's important for you to understand this. When it comes to your long-term membership growth, you don't have a membership problem or a personnel problem as much as you have a math problem. It's critical that you and your board understand the math you are facing, because if you don't, you could very easily make a bad business decision for your chamber. So listen to me. No matter how many times you change your commission structure or your ambassador program, or how many new people you hire into the membership role at your chamber, the math does not change. The math is unrelenting. It does not care. The math will outlast your renewed enthusiasm. Now, just a few moments ago, there's a reason why I chose the example of 90% member retention and 1 new member every 2 weeks. Many of our chambers of commerce in SACA have between 200 and 300 members. Most of them are limited to 2 or fewer people on staff. Membership retention and recruitment rests upon their shoulders in addition to everything else that's happening at the chamber. In our example, 90% retention is excellent performance. Gaining 1 new member every 2 weeks for 1 full year is also good performance for a staff of that size. And yet, starting with 250 members, here's the impact of that consistently good performance over the course of 20 years. In 20 years' time, your chamber will grow from 250 members to just 259 members with 90% retention and 26 new members per year. Your chamber also will have churned through more than 500 members in 20 years just for a net gain of 9 members. Why? Well, because given a static retention rate and a static new members rate per year, there's a diminishing return on the overall growth with each successive year. And that's the math. And it's exactly why many local chambers have a difficult time growing their membership and their top-line revenue. They think that growing membership alone will solve their revenue problem, when in fact, growing membership can be difficult to do and even more difficult to sustain over a period of years. And this is exactly why non-dues revenue becomes vital for your chamber. So let's go back to our example. Since 90% retention is already excellent performance, we can gain 2 insights from this table. First, The only variable that we can reliably change to increase membership and grow revenue is the number of new members per year. Second, now that you see how challenging the membership math can be, you should also see how critical non-dues revenue is for your chamber. Here's what happens if we modestly increase the number of new members per year from 26 to 30. Knowing the math will also help you and your board step back from the daily operation and consider some very serious business planning questions, such as, what percentage of time should the staff spend on tasks that grow revenue? Does my staff have the requisite skills and time needed to grow revenue? What resources do they need? Do we risk burning them out? What is our current non-dues revenue composition, and how do we compare with other chambers our size? Should we consider a large membership drive every few years? Should we consider a large capital campaign every few years to support our mission? And how often should we raise our pricing on member dues? Once you understand how the math impacts your retention and growth over time, you can begin to ask better questions and make better decisions for your organizational health. It does you no good to set a goal of simply increasing your membership by 50 or 100% if you don't understand the math behind retention and attrition and how it's working against you. We are currently building out a membership calculator on the portal so that all of our SACA chambers can use it as a planning tool on their dashboard. If you have any questions about this or you have any feedback, feel free to contact us. But in the meantime, chamber on.